Welcome to The Explainer. So, what if I told you that a lot of the choices you make every single day, I'm talking about what you buy, how you vote, you name it, are being shaped by this hidden force you don't even know is there? Okay, look, I know that's a big claim. So, to show you what I mean, we're going to start with a quick experiment. And I really want you to play along here, because you'll get to see this thing in action for yourself.
It's super simple. All you have to do is read a few words on the next slide. That's it. Just read them to yourself, no pressure.
All right, got those in your head? Good. Let's move on to part two.
Okay, quick. What's the very first word that popped into your head? Come on, don't overthink it. For most people, one answer just materializes almost instantly.
So, did you think of soda? I'm gonna bet you did. It's way more likely you thought of soda than, say, sofa. And why is that? Well, it's because I just showed you a list of drinks. See? That little tiny exposure completely influenced your choice, and you probably didn't even notice. What you just experienced, my friends, is a super powerful psychological thing called priming. All right, so what exactly is this invisible force, and how in the world does it work? Let's break it all down.
Just think back to our little experiment. When you saw the word juice, it kind of woke up the whole idea of drinks in your brain. And because that concept was awake, it made it way easier for a related word, like soda, to pop up a second later. It's this subtle little nudge, And it's all happening completely under the radar.
And this is where it gets really wild. This quote from the University of Minnesota nails it. Priming doesn't just mess with what you think, it can actually change what you do, your physical behavior. Okay, to really get why this works so well, we gotta take a quick peek at how our brains actually store information. So picture this. Your brain isn't like some neat filing cabinet, right? It's much more like a gigantic, tangled, interconnected web. Psychologists have a name for this. They call it a semantic network. And basically, every single idea, every word, every memory, it's like a little node in this web, connected to hundreds of other related things. Yeah, this process is called spreading activation. It's so cool. When one idea, let's say doctor, gets activated in your brain, it doesn't just light up by itself. Nope. It sends out these little ripples of energy all across the network to anything closely linked, like nurse. And that's what primes them. It makes nurse way easier and faster for your brain to grab than some totally random word like bread. And look, this is not just some weird trick they do in a psychology lab. This stuff is happening all around you, every single day. Let's check out some really powerful real-world examples.
So what's really fascinating to me is just how many different ways this can work. I mean, it can be based on meaning, right? Doctor primes nurse, easy. But it can also be perceptual, so boat primes goat, just because they sound alike. And it can even be emotional. You ever notice how after watching a sad movie, other sad memories seem to pop up? That's affective priming at work.
Okay, but you'd think for a really big decision, something important like voting, we'd be immune to this, right? Surely not. Well, you might be surprised. A really fascinating study suggests something else entirely.
So these researchers, they were analyzing votes in Arizona for a pretty specific initiative. It was a proposal to raise the sales tax to get more money for public schools.
And they compared how people voted based on one super simple variable, where they physically cast their ballot. That's it. And the results were kind of stunning. People who voted inside a school were way more likely to support the education funding initiative. The environment itself, the lockers, the classrooms, probably even the smell, all of it primed these pro-education attitudes, and it subtly nudged their vote. And this influence, it goes beyond just our opinions. It gets into our physical actions. There's this one famous study where participants just had to unscramble sentences, but some of the sentences had words related to old age, like wrinkle or Florida. And get this, those people physically walked more slowly down the hallway afterwards. And they had no idea. They didn't even realize their walking speed had changed. Okay, so it's pretty clear this hidden force is incredibly powerful. But so what? What does all this mean for you in your day-to-day life? Well, the truth is, priming is a tool, and it's being used everywhere, all the time. Marketers, they use brand colors in a store to get you thinking about their product. Teachers will preview new topics to get students' brains warmed up and ready to learn. And you can bet that a good negotiator is trying to get you to feel sympathetic to their side before they ever make their actual pitch. But here's the really cool part. you can actually use this on yourself. It's called self-priming. Think about it. You can listen to upbeat music before a workout to prime yourself for energy. Even something as simple as the color of your shirt can have an effect. Some research suggests wearing red can prime feelings of energy, while blue can prime a sense of calm.
And all of this leaves us with a pretty provocative final thought, doesn't it? If our choices are constantly being nudged and shaped by our environment, by our mood, by the things we see, then how free are we really? Understanding priming, it doesn't just give you a new tool, it gives you a whole new lens to see the world, and maybe even to understand yourself a little bit better. Thanks for watching.